Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com, and today this video that I'm doing is going to be brought to you by one of our very own patron supporters who's getting the privilege of having his own custom video made. I'm not going to say the name on these because I still want to keep this anonymous, unless, I mean, if you want me to say your name, let me know. But basically what I'm talking about, check out the Patreon page here. If you're pledging $35 a month or more, you can see the reward there, that I said that I will personally record one video on the topic of your choosing each month. Obviously there's a few people that have this privilege, so every month they get to send me an email that says, hey John, make a video on this topic. That's kind of cool, right? So obviously as this starts to build up, as more and more people pledge, I'm going to eventually have to take this little perk away. But for now, if you want to get in and get the ability for me to make a video on whatever you want, within reason, I'll do that. So you can just send me an email, so go and check that out. But anyway, here is the first of these. So this is from Chris, I'll say first name here, and he says, hi John, I'd like to hear more about your thoughts on our online personas. Should we strive to leave politics, religion, etc. out of our blogs, or maybe have a separate, more personal persona for those things? I've always tried to keep those types of discussions to a minimum in the workplace and only speak on those topics when I trust that people I'm speaking with are willing to have a conversation with me where nobody runs off to HR afterwards. Thanks, Chris. So this is interesting, okay? Because if you've watched me, right, here on Simple Programmer, you've seen me change my stance on this. And, I have no problem contradicting myself. There's a really good Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. I don't have it right now, but this is worth looking up because this is really good. I think there's a lesson here. Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, contradiction. I think that should bring it up. This is just a fantastic quote. I need to memorize this quote. Okay, so, and hopefully this is accurate. No, the first Google result was not the one I was looking for. Oh man, come on, give me something good here. Let's search for contradict myself. This is you watch me live Google here. Do I contradict? Oh, here we go. Okay, this is it. Well, oh, man, I want the full quote. Come on. I have pulled this up before, and now that I need this. Well, here's the short of it, right? He says, do I contradict myself? Very well, then. I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. That's beautifully put. I'll give it one more search to look for the full quote here. I can't find it. If someone finds it, put it in the comments below. There's a longer quote. I think it's from his essay on self-reliance, and he talks about contradicting himself. Anyway, he talks about a foolish consistency. I think I found it, but oh gosh, I'm getting off topic. Look at what you guys are doing to me. So anyway, this is so off topic, but I just thought this is important. But anyway, I have changed my stance on this to some degree. So I used to have this stance, like, don't piss anyone off, right? Don't say shit. Don't say shit. Right? I just said it twice now, and I'm not going to just drop F-bombs for the fun of it. But I used to be like, okay, don't do that. Don't say anything political. Don't say anything religious or controversial, and just keep your persona squeaky clean. And I have learned that. So, gosh, this is such a delicate issue because I have still reservations about this, and I think you have to do this the right way, and it depends on your personality, how you project yourself, how you can come across, and if you can do this in the right way. But in general now, my stance has changed from let's just be neutral and try to make everyone happy and not do anything that would offend anyone to, and it wasn't never, my sense was never like quite as extreme as what I'm telling. I'm an extremist, right? I always like, make things seem more extreme than they are. But anyway, I went from that to, you got to polarize your audience. And I don't know if you've known, there's a couple of other reasons why the YouTube channel has grown, but I think that I have impacted people more by being a little bit more polarizing, a little bit more out there, a little bit more in your face, and a little bit more willing to tell you to shut the hell up if I don't agree with you, right? Than walking necessarily on eggshells, right? And trying to walk the line, right? I'm going to tell you what I think. It's this concept of, but hopefully you gather from me that I have strong opinions loosely held, right? This is important that you have this, because if you don't think that you can convince me, if you don't think that I'm open to contradicting myself, to coming back and revisiting my previous thoughts, then you're not going to listen to me, because then you're like, oh, this is just some pundit that is just exclaiming his, whatever his vendetta is, and using, preaching to the world, and he doesn't have ears on his head, right? He only has a mouth. So what I'm saying here is this, is you got to figure out what your persona is. And as far as like, okay, one thing that you haven't seen me do here on YouTube is endorse a political candidate. I have not said, you can probably figure out who I would endorse, right? But I'm not going to say it. And there's a reason why. There's a couple of reasons why. One is because I don't directly align with a single person, right? Because I don't agree with all of everything. I don't like categories and boxes and to belong to a quote party or whatever, right? I have my opinions, but I try to express, okay, so if I'm going to be controversial, right? If I'm going to be in your face, if I am going to talk about politics or religion, which I do, I talk about both of those topics, I am going to talk about it in a way that is impactful to you, that is going to affect your life, that is going to affect change, that is going to help and benefit you. If I say, you should vote for Hillary, or you should vote for Trump, or Sanders, or whatever, if I say that, how does that help you? All it does is piss you off, right? Because it's going to piss someone off, and it does no good. It does no benefit, all right? If I say, you should be a Christian, or you should be a Muslim, or you should be whatever, that doesn't help you either, right? I can express my opinion on that, and I could say, well, I really think this and that, but that doesn't help anyone. So if I talk about religion, and if I talk about politics, I'm not talking about a candidate to vote for, because that's not going to help you personally. You see what I'm saying? Right? I don't carry enough of a big enough platform to make a difference. If I had, several millions of people, you bet following me, you would bet I would use that platform to actually change the face of politics. But since I can't do that, I won't do that. You see what I'm saying? So it's where you can be effective with your message and not being afraid of polarizing your audience. So this is gonna be a long video, by the way, because this is a really complex topic, and this is good. And I don't have this 100% figured out. You saw when I did those videos, that first metamorphosis video. This was a change for me. This was where my mind, my thinking was changing. I've grown as a person in this area, and I'm vulnerable with you guys. I'm letting you see more of me. And I've sort of made this promise at the beginning of this year that I was going to be genuine, as genuine as possible. So that's what I'm doing. Right now when I'm telling you this, I'm telling you I don't have this 100% figured out. But I have figured out that polarizing is generally better than being neutral, right? Even in the Bible, when Jesus says, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. He'd rather just be cold or hot. Damn it, pick one of those, right? So I guess what I'm saying here is that, it's good to be polarizing, but pick your battles and make sure that what you're doing is you're doing something that's actually going to benefit people. Not just, being polarizing by just expressing your opinion, you can find that all over Facebook. And those are the people that you hate, right? Because what are they doing? They're just telling you to not, they're just spewing hate, spewing crap, right? And I'm not going to call out, there's a big name in the software development industry that is, I don't want to identify him directly, but you'll know who he is. There's actually two of them, but one of them in particular who really projects very liberal views, and it's almost like, dude, why are you race baiting all the time? 100% of the time, everything you post on Twitter, everything you post on Facebook is race baiting. Why are you doing this? And there's no purpose behind it. It's not helping anyone. It's not an encouraging message. It doesn't inspire people. Sometimes you inspire people by cheering them on and pushing them forward, and sometimes you inspire people by slapping them in the face and giving them the good spanking, the good discipline that they need. But this person does neither of those things. They just race bait all the time. And there's another big name who sort of, there's a few of these, right, in the software development industry. You guys know who I'm talking about. You can figure out. And it really upsets me personally because I like this person. I consider them a friend of mine. And it's not beneficial. It's not helpful, right? It only makes people angry. And so you don't agree with everything that I say, right? If you're still here watching these videos, you probably have passed the polarization, right? You probably have said, okay, I am not a lazy ass, whatever it is, and I believe in some of the things that John says here. So you might still not. You might be like, this guy's kind of an idiot, but I like his software development advice. That's fine. But you can at least tolerate me, right? So I've polarized. So that's why, some of you are like gung-ho. You're like, damn, everything John says, yeah, right? And that's awesome. And you're only going to get that if you're willing to go there, if you're willing to polarize. But again, for all of you, right, hopefully what I'm saying to you is benefiting you. And hopefully if I talk about religion, right, I did that video on why have you become a new age, whatever. And I'm saying this because I feel like it's a benefit to you, right? Because I feel like if you start to look at some of these topics and you can embrace some of these things, you can gain a benefit from that. So that's where I stand on it. Now, as far as in the workplace and stuff like that, again, if you're benefiting people and you're doing it in the right way, right? If you're an angry, bitter asshole and that's what you're doing, that's not going to come off right. But if you can have discussions about things like religion and politics. Now, don't expect to change people's religious or political views, right? It's just dumb to do that and to get in arguments, and it's not worth it. I don't want to talk about these things to people that I don't feel like it will benefit. And there's some people that I feel like it could benefit, right? Or that we can have these kind of discussions with, and it's fun. But in general, I want, I have this Twitter quote all the time, and I say, I'm not for or against anything, right? I try to remind myself to not be for or against anything. People totally misinterpret that all the time. They're like, some battles are worth fighting, dude. What the hell? You just want to be neutral. You just want to be Switzerland. And my answer is, look, you're not getting it, right? When there's an important battle that I can influence the world in some way, right? And let's be honest, even with however many followers, even being, having a small amount of publicity or reputation in the software development in this industry on YouTube or whatever, I can't influence much, right? I have so little power. So I try to stay out of the stuff that I can't, like the presidential race. I can't influence that, so what is the point, right? So what I'm saying is I'm not for, again, I'm for or against things that directly impact my life and your life that I can control. I'm focused on the shit I'm doing, right? And I don't care if like giraffes get shot in Africa or there's all this other stuff going on in the news and the media wants to tell me what's important. I know what's important, right? I don't care. Every single day, there's going to be a new drama unfolding. And if I am going to invest all my emotional energy in those dramas, I'm not going to have any fuel left to actually get shit done that I need to get done, right? I invest in people that I care about and things that I should care about that affect my life and your life, not the stupid higher level politics that I don't have any control of. If I wanted to invest in those, I would be a politician or I'd run a nonprofit, organization for advancing one of those causes. But if you're not doing that, then shut the fuck up. Honestly, because you're not helping anyone. So that's that. And then I'll say one more thing on this topic, which is the work thing, right? So at work, you're gonna have to weigh this carefully, right? How genuine you want to be and what kind of risks that will involve. I am probably fairly unemployable, right? I think there's a lot of companies that would not employ me because they watch my YouTube videos and they're like, oh, this guy, he's too controversial. that's fine, right? I can get away with that. I run my own business. That's part of the reason why I have Simple Programmer and it's mine. And I'm like, when people I get upset when people try to tell me that what I can say and what I can't say. I can do whatever I want to do. I have no repercussions except for my own. I'm living my life in public, so there's no skeletons in my closet because there's no fucking closet. The closet doesn't have a door on it, right? And I can get away with that because I'm willing to do that. But if you have skeletons in your closet and you're hiding those things and then you're trying to be, whatever, and you're doing this stuff at work, those are going to pop out. So you got to be either being honest and transparent about what you're doing. You can get away with a lot more if you're willing to do that. So if you're not that kind of person, if you're a private person, then you better lay off politics and religion and stuff like that, especially at work, because you're gonna get yourself in trouble. And it depends on how much risk you're willing to take. How genuine do you want to be? How much is this important to you? If you're looking back at the line of, am I expressing my opinion or am I influencing people for the good and helping them? And if you're talking about politics and religion, regardless of whether it's on Twitter, your own personal account, or at work, and you're doing it to just express your opinion, well then, you're going to suffer the consequences, and it's not good. It's not going to be good. But if you're doing it to genuinely help people, if you're doing it genuinely to make a difference, to make a real impact, not this fake feel good, put a picture of Paris on your Facebook profile, not that way, but because you're actually influencing people, and actually have a message that you're bringing across, and you're doing it in the right way, then be a little bit more ballsy, So I wouldn't separate this stuff out. If you got to separate it out, if you're like, oh well, I should have a blog for my personal stuff and your opinion, well then in my opinion, all you're doing is expressing your opinion, and no one wants opinions are like assholes, right? No one wants your opinion. They want this channel. It seems like a lot of it's my opinion, but it's not really my opinion. It's what I'm giving out. It's what I'm trying to help the world with. I'm trying to give you positive encouragement, influence your life for the good. It's not just like I'm expressing my opinion because I want to be heard, I want to be felt. It's not about that. And so don't make it about that. Make it about other people. Make it about the value that you provide, and then don't be afraid to go where you need to go. Just don't do it all over the place unless you're making a political blog. There's a lot of lines to walk here, and it's careful, and there's landmines on each side, and you're going to blow your foot off a few times, and that's okay. That's a learning process. Just make sure you got enough feet. Make sure if you do this, if you go down this road, make sure you got some money in the bank. You can lose that job if you need to. I mean, I personally think it's a better road to go, to be genuine, to polarize people, to not be afraid to step out into the world. But make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and make sure you like I said, you got enough legs to blow off. If you don't, then maybe you should tone it down. If you want to be the most effective as possible, you got to get a big, I don't want to bring this back to politics, but love him or hate him, right? Trump sort of demonstrated this, right? That how important this was. I was already thinking this over, but after seeing that, I was like, okay, yeah, polarizing people is really important. And if you go back, if you study history and you study not Winston Churchill, but Margaret Thatcher, right? Polarizing, oh my God, like so effective because of the polarization. So there's a lot of lessons in history where you see this happening. Malcolm X was extremely effective because it was extremely polarizing. I don't necessarily agree with everything Malcolm X did, but I'm just saying that. So anyway, long video. We could talk about this topic. We could debate this topic literally for hours because there's so many nuances and so many things. Hopefully I've given you some guidance on this and give you an idea. And my thoughts are still evolving on this. Maybe what I'm doing right now is a bad choice for my career. At this point, I don't really care because I'm like, I'm fine. I just want to help as many people as possible. So I want to be as genuine as possible. Those are my principles that guide me. Is I got to share information. I got to help people be genuine. So I don't care as much, but you might care more in your particular career. I think that ultimately doing this and the way that I'm doing it will grow Simple Programmer better than anything else, and will impact more people and achieve my mission better. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? Maybe it would have been better if I was a moderate. I don't think so, but that's where I stand right now. So anyway, long video. If you would like me to custom build videos for you, of course you can check out the Patreon page. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you got someone that just needs this message, you know where to send them. So I'll talk to you next time. Take care.